Hey guys, welcome back to Serial at Midnight. My name is Heath Holland, and this is a really exciting episode for me because it's the return of the Warner Archive Spotlight. Now, those of you who've been with the channel for a long time know that I used to do these regularly. We've talked about, definitely dozens, probably 100, maybe more than that, Warner Archive releases over a period of years. I've had people from Warner Archive on my show here. And through some developments behind the scenes, that sort of faded away, but I'm so excited that it's back. The Warner Archive Spotlight is back. So we got 4 releases to talk about in what I hope is going to be a new recurring regular feature here at Serial at Midnight. We're going to be talking about Springfield Rifle with Gary Cooper, which is an Andre de Toth 50s Western. You know my affection for 50s Westerns. Westerns in general, but especially the 1950s, because that's the golden era. MGM's Side Street, which is an Anthony Mann film noir. I love Anthony Mann as well. This is a unique little film. I don't know if I can compare it to much else, but we're going to talk about this. This is Lily, which is a Leslie Caron starring, really, she was a dancer, sort of a dancing prodigy that was discovered by Gene Kelly. And you can see her in American in Paris, and then this career sort of blossomed out of that. And this is sort of early in that run. And last but certainly not least, Wacky Races, Hanna-Barbera royalty, right? So now on Blu-ray. All of these are available right now. They are from, again, Warner Archive, and you can get these at Movie Zing. We're going to talk more about that. MovieZing.com is the storefront for Warner Archive releases, partnered through Allied Vaughn, who actually makes the disc, because you can buy it directly from them. There's also Amazon. There's an Amazon link in the description of every video that I make, and that's an affiliate link, so you're supporting the channel if you do that too. But where should we start? I almost want to do these at random, but I think I'm going to start with Springfield Rifle because it's got, it's got a supporting cast of character actors in here. Some of them don't even have credits. They're not even credited. Fess Parker, Disney actor, Daniel Boone, Davy Crockett. He's not even credited in the movie, but he's got a speaking part in Springfield Rifle. It's also interesting to think of the time period. This is the 1950s. We got Winchester 73. Hey, there's an Anthony Mann connection right there. Now this is Andre de Toth, and this is Anthony Mann. But when we talk about Anthony Mann, I mean, there's this rich legacy of Westerns all throughout the 50s, but so was Andre de Toth doing wonderful work during the decade. And there's just a lot to like here, especially I have a list. Actually, I have notes for this video because I didn't want to miss any of my points. Springfield Rifle has in various capacities, various prominence. Some of them only have a few lines. Some of them have more than that. Big Boy Williams, Gwyn Big Boy Williams. Now you guys probably know I'm a B-Western fan. So he's one of the cats that had started in the early days of cinema. He was a B-Western star in the 30s, possibly even in the late 20s. I'd have to go back and look that up. But he was from the early era of B-Westerns. And then this is it was the 52, right? 1952. So he has sort of, it's a whole other ball game by the time we get here. It's got Lon Chaney Jr. I don't think they credit him as Jr., but of course, you know, the Wolfman, Lon Chaney. We've got Alan Hale Jr. well before Gilligan's Island. Martin Milner, who you know from, Route 66, Adam 12. Well, that's like 15 years of his life right there. Fess Parker, I mentioned. The screenplay is co-written by Charles Marquis Warren, who was the creator of Rawhide. He was the developer on Gunsmoke for television. And it's got a score by Max Steiner. So it's an incredible sort of pedigree. And for people like me who just love how these things are put together and like who's in them, that's as much of an appeal. The story is almost incidental to who's in the thing and who made the thing, who wrote the thing, right? This is highly appealing to me. And so Warner Archive's legendary for their transfers. They do like top tier transfers, but they also do wonderful special features here. So here we've got classic WB cartoons, Feed the Kitty and Rabbit's Kin. Now I have not done the deep dive necessary to say like, oh, this has been collected before here, but I'm telling you the titles of the shorts. So if you want to go research them, it's Feed the Kitty and Rabbit's Kin. it's interesting how they work. They're curated. You'd be like, well, why? It's not random. Nothing about a Warner Archive release is random. They're carefully chosen because they have connection to it. So, like, for instance, the next special feature, WB, Joe McDoke's short comedy, So You Want to Enjoy Life. So Joe McDoke's was this series of, I think they ran for a long time. There's dozens of them. And they were shorts that were about 10 minutes apiece. And it was So You Want to ... And they would do different topics, just comedy shorts. But this was one from 1952, which is when this movie came out. So you might have seen that in the theater, depending on where you saw Springfield Rifle. It's also interesting to think about Springfield Rifle in the terms of, the Springfield Rifle does feature in the film, but this is the era. I mentioned Winchester 73, and then there's Colt 45 on television, which has a wonderful Blu-ray release now from Warner Brothers. When the gun, the instrument itself, has the focus of it's got the title, right? The top billing. Springfield Rifle it's a good movie. I like the movie. Gary Cooper plays sort of an early, or the first, I guess, double agent, counterintelligence agent during the Civil War. He gets kicked out of his sort of a cavalry it's a cavalry west. Why can't I say that word? It's a western in which he is accused of being dishonorable, discharged, goes to the other side during the Civil War, and then he's like, it's counterintelligence. It's a very interesting concept. Side Street, Anthony Mann. Now, see, Anthony Mann is a director that I much prefer his earlier work. Through, he later in his career, he's doing these big, huge movies. He's doing huge spectacles, and there's a place for that. But I love his small film noir, because when you have those budgetary limitations, you are really forced to overcome all kinds of things. And I mean, if you look at something like He Walked by Night, or it was a border incident. Is that the name of it? There's so many things that he brings, like the character elements that come out of these things. So this is really I think this was his last MGM movie before he ends up making this long string of films with James Stewart, beginning with Winchester 73 at another studio. Before that relationship ended, you can kind of divide these things into little, life doesn't necessarily have these compartments, but you can retroactively apply these to film. And this is sort of end of Anthony Mann era 1, maybe. And I think that it's pretty compelling. One of the things about film noir is that it could happen to you. And that's what this has got Farley Granger and Kathy O'Donnell, who had made this is not their first movie together. But the idea is, you're struggling and you find an opportunity to make some money, to steal some money. Who's going to miss it? But he steals the wrong money from the wrong person, and it all hits the fan after that. And so it becomes, your life is on the line because of a decision that you made that you thought you'd get away with. That's really film noir. It's like, it's wrong, but you can justify it, and then it will. What's the line from Detour? Life sticks a leg out to trip you up, something like that. That's the idea behind a lot of film noir. This has feature commentary by film historian and critic Richard Schickel. It's got a featurette where temptation lurks, classic MGM cartoons, Goggle Fishing Bear, and Polka Dot Puss. MGM, see, these are MGM cartoons. It's an MGM movie, so they're not going to put Warner Brothers cartoons on an MGM movie. It's very carefully done. MGM Crime Does Not Pay shorts is another one of those shorts that is thematically appropriate, because that's the message of these movies, right? Crime does not pay. And then The Luckiest Guy, the Crime Does Not Pay is the range of films, and then the title is Luckiest Guy in the World. So, and the theatrical trailer is on here too. Lily, we gotta do Lily next, because we gotta talk about wacky races towards the end. So Leslie Caron, beautiful. She's got these huge blue eyes that you just disappear into. I mean, she's so expressive. The premise of this is that she has life is hard, right? And she has ended up in this little village where there's I guess it's traveling. Actually, I'm not sure if we don't see it travel, but it's a little sort of carnival kind of a thing. And there's a puppet show where so it's Leslie Caron, Mel Ferrer, who is this hard man, very stern, very hard, but he communicates through the puppets. And that sounds cheesy. That sounds like, oh, yeah, okay. But it's really beautiful. And there's a darkness to the movie that the puppets actually help to counterbalance. And it works wonderfully. The atmosphere, sort of the production design of the movie, and this is an MGM film as well, but the production design of the movie is very reminiscent of when you think of like classic era Disney. It's drawing from the same pool as that. It's sort of a larger than life fantasy realm. Beautiful colors. I should mention this is it's 1953. Yeah, 1953. Beautiful colors, purples and pinks and deep blues. And because she came from a Gene Kelly movie, because Leslie Caron came from a Gene Kelly movie. If you know anything, if you've seen Gene Kelly movies, he's a dancer, right? But so they would have these fantasy sequences. Really, they would have these. It's a break with reality, you know. I guess it takes place. I don't know if it's in the mind. It's just a fantasy sequence. It's a fantasy dance sequence, and they are beautifully done in this movie. Beautifully realized. Again, if you're kind of on the fence about this, I think the movie wins you over. I think it really is sweet enough and approachable enough that I'm glad that it's been given this restoration. We've got classic cartoons, The Impossible Possum, Pecos Pet, and Puppy Tail, plus the theatrical trailer. Again, curated. The Impossible Possum is I think he's a dog, is trying to capture a possum that's bothering him. And he uses puppets, so there's the puppet connection, because both of the things are about puppets. So nothing is an accident. And then, of course, Wacky Races is you know what's interesting is, in my mind, this went on forever, but there's only 17 episodes of Wacky Races. And part of that's because there were multiple spin-offs, you know, you have, and the characters, you know, Penelope Pitstop, it had a life beyond this, but really the core Wacky Races started, I got the dates here because I wanted to mention it, 17 episodes broadcast between September of 1968 and January of 1969. So that's September, October, November, December, and then the very beginning of January. And, you know, they run like 22 minutes or something like that. But it has this huge, larger-than-life place in Hanna-Barbera culture and fandom. The premise, it's sort of tapping into that, the Great Race, the mad world. That's too many mads. But where you'd have characters, interesting, unique characters racing each other to a goal. That's this in cartoon form, and there would be 2 stories per episode, so they're like 11 minutes each. It looks good. It looks really good, and I can tell you how I know that, because there's featurettes here that have been carried over from the DVD version. Rearview Mirror, a look back at Wacky Races, which is, I got timestamps here too. That's 20 minutes. It's about a 20-minute retrospective. And Spin Out Spinoffs, which is a 10-minute feature about the spinoffs that came out of this series. Commentaries on 4 key segments from Hanna-Barbera veterans. This is what's interesting. If you select, if you want to know who's on the commentaries too, it's people that were involved in production and animation historians. So Iwao Takamoto, Jerry Eisenberg, Earl Kress, if animation fans know that name, and Scott Shaw. The commentaries are playing on, you get the whole episode in standard definition. So obviously this is Blu-ray, high definition, but if you select the commentary, it plays on standard definition. So I guess they've ported those over from the DVD, and that allows you to see, you can do your own before and after comparison right there on the same disc. And then there's Wacky Facts, which is a pop-up, like a pop-up video track for the first episode. 2 discs on this. Come on now. All right, it's rotating as I'm flipping it around. I also want to mention, this is something I bought myself, and I really am smitten with it. So I wanted to honorable mention Magilla Gorilla on Blu-ray. Now, if you're like, well, I got Magilla Gorilla on DVD, why do I need to upgrade? Well, first of all, animation in HD, especially when done right, looks like chef's kiss, right? But there's original toy sponsor. If you know the 60s animation and how, and even 50s, the way that television worked at the time is the sponsor spots were worked into the series. So, the Magilla Gorilla Show brought to you by, and they'd have these sponsor spots, and they're here, and they've been restored. And that's huge. Those had to be cleared so they could be carried over. So I just wanted to shout that out. This has extras too. Here Comes a Star, Archival TV special goes inside Hanna-Barbera Studios to introduce the new Simian character. Magilla theme song, live and unplugged. Mr. Peebles Pet Shop. Interview with Magilla Gorilla's voice, Alan Melvin, series animator Jerry Eisenberg. We just heard that name a second ago. And animation historian Jerry Beck, the Giant. Jerry's wrestler name, Jerry the Giant Beck. I just mean like he's a giant in the world of animation history, preservation, authoring books about that. But I love Magilla Gorilla, and because I'm a Western fan, as we've already established, you got Ricochet Rabbit here, which is... do I dare hope for some Quick Draw McGraw in my future? I don't know. That might be reaching too far into the sky. But I am really, really excited about Warner Archive because it's a well-established track record of quality that we've been talking about here for a long time, and we're talking about it again now. Again, you can get all of these releases from Warner Archive via the Movie Zing, ZYNG website. That is the the official Warner Archive storefront. You can also get them from Amazon, link in the description of this episode, and you can get them at walmart.com too. So whatever, there's various places that you can get. You have no reason to say, well, I didn't know where I was supposed to go to get this stuff. Now you do. Thank you guys. Let me know what you think about Warner Archive's releases, what you're excited about. Hopefully we'll be doing another one of these in just a few weeks, and I can't wait. Oh, you know what? Cheyenne. Warner Archive is I don't have it yet, but Warner Archive has just released Cheyenne, the complete series on Blu-ray. Now I have the seasons, some of the DVD seasons, but the idea of that entire series, they're not it's not, we'll do season 1 in HD, then we'll do a Blu-ray release for season 2. No, whole box set, one package, Western TV history. That's, oh man, we live in an age of wonders. What do we want that we don't have? I'm grateful. I hope you are too. Thank you guys. I appreciate you. Take care. Till next time, I will catch you later.